やれやれやれ。どこから始ますか？本当に、本当？そうか。そう。Right, here we are back on planet Twix. Other planets in the solar system are available. Where we left off, we just finished this double bus setup with copper and iron. As you can see, we have one line of iron smelteries coming in and about, well, this much spread out over 4 lanes going out on the entire bus, and it's being used in our convenience store and to create ammo. The copper bus is also split this way, but it's not being used currently. We have nice little mining rigs for our tiny fields. And we have up here stone smelting, well, stone baking, stone being mined up there, stone baking coming down here for automated brick creations. We can make roads and use other products, I guess, later on. And automated wall building. It looks like the chest is full. Isn't that just great? We also have a little bit of power, but we're gonna need more. We don't have all the radar coverage I want, so I'm gonna place more radars. And our plan this time is to wall off the perimeter, to make a safe haven for ourselves to mess around in, and to automate red science. That's what we're gonna do. However, first off, as you can tell, the iron smelting is not going perfectly. As you can see, there's like gaps in each system cycle, and we have sufficient iron ore to, just about, to supply all of this. As you can see, it's like backed up. So that means we don't have enough smelteries. And this is actually something that we discovered in our multiplayer series that will come online very soon. There are episodes in the making. There are episodes going down into the pipeline. Soon, my friends, you'll have another series. Isn't that just fine? Anyway, what we discovered is working out the math of how fast all these things can produce iron and how much iron is used, is transported on a yellow belt per unit of time. Yes, I think that was it. Maybe it was just how fast iron is smelted per unit. Maybe it was that. Maybe it was both. Anyway, the math turns out that you need about 23 smelteries on a side, so 46 in total, for 1 unit of smelteries to produce 1 full line of product. So, let me rework what we have here in a short montage, shall I say, and let me expand upon what we have here to provide 23 on each side to make sure that is done. I will actually try and figure out if I can figure out the math again, like reverse engineer it. Let's see, before we do that. Okay, so it is all dependent on the yellow belt carry speed. That's what all of these numbers are based on that I just mentioned. If you hover over one belt, you can see the belt speed is 13.33 items per second. If you put that into a fraction, that means we can carry 40 thirds, 40 over 3 items per second. Yes? Now how many items do we produce per second per furnace? Well, if we go into the crafting menu, you can see it takes 3.5 seconds to create 1 iron plate from 1 iron ore. And if you hover over a furnace, you can see the crafting speed is 1. So you don't need to do any multiplications to figure out the actual rate. It is 3.5 seconds to create 1 iron plate from 1 iron ore. So it takes 3.5 seconds, or 7 over 2 seconds to create 1 item. So how many items per second do we create? That's the inverse of that. So 2 over 7, 2/7 of an item per second. So 1 furnace creates 2/7 item, and we can carry up to 40 thirds items. So we divide the total number of items we want, namely the carry capacity. We want to make this belt completely full, so up to the carrying capacity. The total we want, 40 thirds, divide by how much we make per second is 2/7. If you divide that by each other, So divide what we want, the output, by 1 unit's input into this output, shall we say, then we get the number of units we need. And if you calculate all that out, it turns out the fractions, the math goes down to 46 2/3, right? Now you can't really make a third of a furnace. So instead what we do is we put 23 furnaces on both sides. That's the 46. And then we just put 1 extra furnace at the end for both lanes, which will sort of, those 2 furnaces won't see as much action, but those 2 will cover for the remaining 2/3 of the fraction, which we can't, like, literally perfectly cover with the amount of furnaces. We just overproduce, which means that we should fully saturate the belt as efficiently as we can right now. That's the idea. So 23 furnaces on each side, plus 1 on each side to carry the extra 2/3, so that makes 24 units on each side. That's the idea. So let me actually build that for you in a montage, because I will need to basically, well, let me zoom in with the satellite view because it has night vision. It basically means I'll need to reroute some of this stuff, move it all backwards because this lake is in the way and this is where the bus starts, and I don't want to move this over here to the right, I want to move it to the left, so expand left. So I'm going to like reroute some of these belts, and you don't need to see me do all that in real time. I can just do it in a montage. So I'll catch you in a bit. Alright, here we are again. As you can see, I have extended these things to 24 smelteries, what are you called? Stone furnaces on each side, so 48 in total. That'll fully saturate this belt. You can see it's already a lot better. And here we go, an evenly split saturated belt over 4 lanes. It looks really pretty, this little pattern. Looks like knitwork. But you can see probably once in a while a little gap in here. Maybe you caught one just earlier, but that could be because our iron ore isn't exactly fully saturated, so it might not like fully keep up with all of this. But for now, it looks like it's doing all right. I also placed down some radars, 3 more radars. As you can see, little tendrils crawling out of the base for full radar coverage in this entire block. Basically, I just wanted to be able to satellite view anything I want from here. And also they should scan periodically, scan some of these, here, let's see, scan progress, about 2/3, scan progress, yeah, they're all about, okay, this one's just started, so they should scan, like here, you can see a little tile that was just scanned, should scan tiles around themselves in a wide area too. Here we go, here you can see, it's just like showing these things. They will discover enemy bases for us, should they have appeared. Not that that should really matter though, because we're planning on getting rid of all of those bases very soon. But first I wanted to fix these smelteries so we have a proper, here we go, here's the gaps. So we have a proper supply of materials, so we can automate our red science, get some science done, then fix this old power, and then I think it's time to go out and build some walls and defenses. Get rid of the biter scum that infect our homelands. But this is our planet. We landed here, we claimed it, it is ours. I don't have enough iron, actually, to make more mining drills. I want to make some more mining drills and mine some more iron to like get this production, to get this iron ore, how do you say, supply up to scratch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Because we're not fully mining these 2 fields just yet. I think we can improve upon that. Let's see. This is... I need to mine these tiles. So, yeah, just these guys. From here. Let me know in the comments down below, by the way, whether you prefer montages like that, or whether you want to see me go through the entire... all the motions. I think I personally prefer montages more if I were a viewer, but I mean, you tell me, what do you want? For now, though, I will continue to do montages until I am told otherwise. How about that? How about that, folks? Okay, let's do this. Oh, I thought I had another one. We have to wait on these. I will craft, what are they called? Electronic circuits as my next convenience store item, I think, because those take a long time and a lot of things need them. They don't really take a long time to craft, but like with the amount of electronic circuits you need, it gets pretty annoying pretty fast. The amount of time you're waiting on electronic circuits alone. So let's put these in. I think I'm just gonna pipe these straight into there. I don't really care about all that. Let's just include these here, and then include this here. It needs power, of course. So let's put down some poles here and there, and then hook them up. Oh, I missed one. Let's see, we can do that better. There we go. Alright, so they should all start outputting. One thing that you may have noticed in this design is the input side and the output side. The input side is rather easy to explain, so I'll just go through it. Ore comes in one side, gets split onto 2 lanes, and then gets like transferred onto one side of the lanes, outside, and then coal comes in the other side, and it gets split onto, gets forced onto one side of the other, the other side of the lane. So you have a fully saturated half a belt. That makes sense. Half saturated belt, 1 of each material, and that should perfectly supply all of these once the actual supply lines are fully saturated also. And And then there's the output. There's a little lane balancer here to make sure that, well, both sides of the lane are equally saturated, basically, and that not one side is used more than the other one. I'm going to use some more lane balancers like this over here on the input side to make sure that all these gaps aren't caused by balancing issues, but are just purely supply issues, so purely mining speed and the amount of stuff we're still mining. This guy's about to run out, for example. That kind of stuff, rather than... Oh, there's a whole field here that we aren't mining. Well, let's change that. You can't? What's in the way? I am. Okay, great. I don't mind being in the way. So basically this kind of stuff, where there's stuff clogging up the exit of this miner so it can't actually output materials. We want to make sure that that happens as little as possible, and that it's really just usage that's causing it to back up. So let's put a lane balancer in here. I hope we have them in belts and the world. Let's get rid of this little blueprint book. Yes, because we have updated belts in the world in our multiplayer series, and we have actually added some units. There we go, there it is. Perfect balancer. I think you're just supposed to put it in like this. Yes. It's supposed to be a perfect balancer for one lane entry. Wow, that messed up, didn't it? Let's try that again. It's supposed to be a perfect balancer for a one lane input, one lane output kind of situation. That's what we have right now, so let's do that. 2 splitters. One of these underground jokes, if you remember. Just the output, so that this will output onto only one of those lanes. This goes to the right onto that underground lane. This goes up to the to the left, I guess. This goes to the right, and that goes up. And that should balance things out. And that will mean that we have an equal share of stuff going on the right and the left lanes, which looks to now fully saturate the belt. Excellent. And this should help reduce clogging up due to balancing issues rather than due to usage. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Isn't that great? What a little bit of balancing can't achieve, huh? Maybe we should do that more often. Alright, so with that in mind, let's actually balance also the copper line and also the coal. Now, the trick to balancing, really, it doesn't really matter where you put it, because if you put it further down the line, that'll just take more time for the beginning of the line to catch up, but eventually it won't matter where it is, as long as there is a balancer somewhere in the process. So let's do this here, right at the source, because that's the easiest. Just get rid of this for a second. Just put him there. There we go. And we add these. Down, right, down, left. And that's it. Should balance out the copper ore. And then we'll also put a balancer here, because this is where the first split of coal, well, the first bit of coal gets split off. So let's make sure it's balanced before that happens. And like I said, anywhere before the point where it actually gets used is where you want to balance it. It doesn't matter if it's at the source or right here. I'm going to do it right here because I'm right here myself. So there we go. This goes up, that goes down, this goes up, those go on. And there we go. Alright then. That's nice. So we've got proper copper and ore smelting down now. They should fully saturate the bus. Now it looks like none of the stuff is being used anymore. I guess that's cool. That's great. Let's look at the power situation. Yeah, really riding up against that. So let's create 2 engines per boiler, right? Yes. We need more iron. Just scoop up a bunch of iron from the bus. Go. Alright, 2, 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be enough for now if I expand onto that many steam engines. Also, that will spread the pollution a little bit. We are starting to touch this hive, so we'll aggro it very soon. As you can see, by the way, you see this little forest here? This? Oh, I call it little. This is eating away a lot of pollution. Look at all that pollution that isn't spreading around here because of those trees. I want more trees like that. I want more borders of trees. Because trees are, well, first of all, they're nice and they're pretty. I love trees. But also they help a lot with the pollution. Absorbing pollution. Like, look at that. Like, in the middle of this huge cloud of stuff. This is like the core of all the pollution. There's just this. And there's just no pollution here because of all those trees. That's fantastic, isn't it? That should help, like, not aggro as many enemies as we could be. And also the walls will help, because then there won't be any enemies inside the walls. And, yeah, what can I say? That's... no enemies in the walls means no enemies to aggro, right? But for now, let's fix the power situation. Save the game. Fix the power situation. I'll produce some... Wow, look at how cool this looks. This bus on the map. Nice. Fix the power situation, and I will automate some... What are they called again? Electronic circuits? Electronic circuits. I'll automate some electronic circuits for our convenience store. And then I think I'll do science... Then walls. Yes, right. Okay, let's get into things. Here we go, some boilers. Let's just extend this neat little array. Why not leave a space? Every 2 units, leave 1 space, just so we can walk in between all of our lovely boys. Do we want 4 more burner inserters? We use burner inserters here, of course, because we want to make sure that these inserters will always work, whether there's power or not. And as long as there's coal, that means they'll work. Which means there will be power. As long as they're coal, and that makes sense, because we need to burn the coal for power. If there's no... Oops. If there's no coal, then we can't produce power, and, well, everything shuts down, doesn't it? But as long as there's coal, this whole operation should work. Which means there should be power. And I'll do that, and I will make some more pipes. Also some more underground, whoops, some more pipes again, because we need to lose some in crafting undergrounds. Yes, so we want 1 more pipe to come out of all of these. Then we will place down these lovely boys here and there, hugging, and 1 apart, and hugging again. Great. Let's see how many undergrounds we have. 12. That should cover it. I actually use up 2. Okay, one entry and exit is 1 underground pipe. That's too bad. That means we need 4 more. Which probably means we need more iron. Yes. Okay. So these aren't really doing much, these last couple of units. That's kind of what we expect, given the math. Although I would expect the last ones to do something still. Oh, I see. There's actually a hiccup in the supply side of things. Again, like that doesn't matter so much. Well, it matters, but I mean, that just means we need to increase the efficiency or the amount of stuff that we supply to the line. Then this will resort itself. What did I say? Resort itself? Or resolve itself? Okay. That's actually a lot of pipe we need to make just for underground, so let's just craft the 4 we need. I think actually 1 set of crafting grids too, doesn't it? Yes, okay. We'll have some extra, that's fine. We don't have any electric power poles. Well, let's make those. And then we have effectively doubled and then some our power supply, so that should be fantastico. We'll put these in here and there. Likewise on the top. Wait, that doesn't reach. Oops. Oh, that's a design flaw. Let's line them up. Oops. Here, right? Yeah. And let's line you up. There. Huh? How does this not work? Is this different from... Huh? Oh, it's because of this guy. Okay. My bad. There we go. Beautiful. So then we use... Look at that. Only 1/3 of our power. Of our maximum power output. Great stuff. Let's save. I love how just a little bit of expansion can produce so many good results. Should we balance the belt already here before we balance it again here? Oh, what are we doing? Well, that's bound to cause issues, isn't it? Should we just split them together instead? Let's see if that helps. I need to get better at actually knowing these things rather than just experimenting, but for now, before that time comes, let's just figure out if it works. Trial and error. Alright, so far so good, but that was just because there was some backlog because of what I just did. Yeah, this guy seems to be permanently, like, blocked from doing anything. But it would seem this is somewhat better. Let's see what happens when the actual furnaces get involved. Again, like with the furnaces above, like with these stone smelteries, I mentioned this before, it takes some time for one system cycle to go through, because like all of this, like say this is the start of the line, like where we just made a change, then that needs to go all the way over here, it needs to go all the way through here, and all of that needs to get processed by one, well, quote, tick of the entire system before you can actually see what the change is down back here. So we're just gonna have to wait on that. And because this is now backing up, that means that none of this is reliable data at the moment. Well, whatever. We'll hope that this works, that this helps and is much better than what we were doing before. Also because of the balancer. And then we'll just move on. Make more stuff. Okay, let me put down a light here. I want to light up the factory because we've been living in the dark for a long time, and well, the night is dark and full of terrors. We do not like those things. We do not like to be afraid. So in the blueprint we made in the multiplayer series, that's where this came from. And we didn't actually fully light up this array. That's a mistake, I guess. Fix that right now. Some more lights here. And there. There we go. Nice. Beautiful. Okay, I like to be able to see where I'm going. And I'll also periodically light up the bus, because again, I like to be able to see where I'm going. Also our convenience store, of course. There. Great. From this moment, basically, just after the convenience store, this is where the bus gets more organized, or at least that's the aim. So let's actually make this a standard space of two of these dudes apart, and then let's also light it up here. And the radar, so we can see where it is. Okay, now it's getting day, so we won't be able to check what our light situation is until the next night. But that's fine. Cool. Hey there! Got some stuff going on, so the release schedule has been a little erratic this week, but we should be back on track by next week. On that note, next episode should be science. Yeah, science. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, consider subscribing, and leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. See you again on Friday, but for now, this is Shrooblord, signing off. Catch you later.